the peace of God or the God of peace? Now that's something I've been thinking about lately. Really interesting how often we bask into the presence of God and we ask Him to give us peace over situations. Say, God, give me peace over the storm that I'm going through. And it makes sense because, what is life without having the peace of God? Now, usually when we say that, we get it from the famous scripture when Paul is writing to the Philippians. Now, this is one of my best verses or best portions in the Bible. Paul is giving his final exhortations to the Philippians from around Philippians 4, that portion of scripture that says, I think it's Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice. And then it goes down to say, do not be anxious about anything, but in prayer and supplications, make your request known unto the Lord. And then 7, it goes ahead to say, and the peace of God that passes all human understanding, guard your hearts. Man, this is really deep, and I totally love when Paul is speaking. But when you go below in that scripture, when you go to Philippians 4:9, here is what Paul tells the Philippians. He says, whatever you have learned, whatever you have seen me do, whatever you have heard from me, put this in practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Wow, that's Philippians 4:9. Totally amazing. Paul tells them that whatever they have learned from him, whatever they have seen him do, whatever they have heard from him, let them put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with them. Can you imagine that we oftentimes struggle to have the peace of God, and yet we do not struggle to have the God of peace? No wonder we find ourselves battling oftentimes when we're like, but God, I went through this season and I felt your peace, but now I don't feel your peace. May I suggest that maybe in some of those seasons, while the peace of God has come over us, but then because we don't have the God of peace, it's so easy for us to lose that peace of God. So Paul tells the Philippians that, hey, it is one thing to have the peace of God that surpasses all human understanding. Totally great. But that may be temporary. What you need for sustenance is the peace of God. And how do you get that peace of God? Whatever you have heard from me, that is Paul speaking, whatever you have seen me do. Now, to understand what we've seen Paul do, Paul is a man who, in Acts, he talks about his journey when there's a shipwreck, and even in the shipwreck, he tells them, I will not